Okay.
So I'll just let you, Marge, take it wherever you wanted to go.
Okay. Me? Okay, I didn't know. I thought you were running this meeting, but I'm just saying hi to people. And I see Tina and Gary are not from Richmond Hill. So I don't, we're going to need introductions from them. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we can share it.
Okay.
So Gary is away from you in Calgary.
Okay.
That much I know. So why don't we just have a little bit of a check-in from each person and introducing where you are in Canada, if you're not from Richmond Hill, and what you're involved in right now. And okay, so Merida, you're going to have to leave early, so we might as well start with you. And you're definitely not in Canada. So.
I'm definitely not in Canada. No, I'm I'm logging in from Monterrey, Mexico. It's the north of Mexico. I'm touching very close to the US. And I'm program coordinator for the Charter for Compassion. And so I'm in charge sometimes of community chats and compassionate cities, anything to do with the sectors and just general coordination. And I'm happy to be here as long as I possibly can, because I have to leave early.
Okay. And Sarah.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I am calling in from Richmond Hill in Ontario, and I'm part of the Compassionate York region with a few of my team members who are here as well. And we're basically bringing the Charter for Compassion to our local city and region. I used to be an active volunteer with the Charter, with their gender partnership sector. And I stepped back a bit last year and increased my efforts here locally. Thank you.
Great. So Marge, you're next in my lineup here.
Okay, so I am with Sarah with the Compassion York region, and I sort of tried to fill Sarah's footsteps when she stepped away from doing things with the Charter for Compassion. So I do try to be part of the meeting on the weekly Monday morning meeting, checking in with people from across the world. I find that quite exciting and just very fulfilling to be seeing what other people are doing in terms of compassion around the world. So it's really is quite exciting. And with that, many of these people, like actually Marilyn and Meredith and many others that I see on Monday, I will see at the in Chicago at the Parliament of Religions, where the Charter for Compassion has a big role. So I'm hoping Marilyn says a lot more about that.
Will do. Gary, are you coming to Chicago?
I actually have registered, but I haven't gotten a hotel yet or anything, and I'm still a little bit on the fence just in terms of things that I'm involved with and timing. But I'm at least registered, so if I can make it, I will.
Great. I would suggest Best Western on South Michigan, since many of the hotels are booked already.
Yeah.
But that's a reasonable one.
Okay. Maybe just, let's write that down. So it's the Best Western where?
On South Michigan Avenue.
South Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's helpful, Marilyn.
Okay, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Okay, so briefly, my name's Gary Senft. I've followed here now. I'm involved with a group in Winnipeg that we call the Peace Builders Committee, and we do a festival that we're just gearing up for. That's called Peace Festival. And I might, not in the introduction, but I would mind explaining that a little bit further. And Marilyn, I'm hoping that, I could connect with you or Meredith or someone to just see if we can get a little involvement with you folks again, because we'd love to have you. And I think I'm making headway with the city, our museum here, which is the Museum for Human Rights, and the Manitoba Association for Rights and Liberties. I'm been tickling their appetite, and I think I might be getting somewhere.
Great. Good. Okay, Tina.
Hi, greetings from the West Coast, British Columbia. I'm with the BC Centre for Palliative Care. We don't do compassionate communities ourselves, but we support others in developing compassionate communities. The center was doing a lot of work when they first came into being about 10 years ago, and are sort of reinvigorating our compassionate communities work in the next a little while. So I thought I'd come in here and listen and see what others are doing.
Great. Thank you. Welcome. Susan.
Hi, I'm from Compassionate York Region, one of the founding members, and I'm in Thorn Hill. And I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say tonight as we move forward as a group. Thank you.
Fantastic. Sherry? Your mic is off.
Hello, everyone. I am Sherry Bennett, and I am proud to be part of Compassionate York Region with my friends Sarah Jamil, Marge Andre, Susan Keegan, and others here on the call. I also am a medical cannabis educator and the owner of a brand new podcast called Let's Talk Cannabis with Doctors. And we bring education and public safety awareness to our community in a compassionate, educated approach. So I'm going to be working on that till the day I die, because as we know, many people in North America are addicted right now, and we have to realize that addiction is not a character flaw. Addiction is a disease, and we have to develop compassionate ways to treat the root cause of addiction. And often in many cases, in most cases, the root cause is trauma. So we're looking at that in a very serious, compassionate way.
Great. You know, Tina and Sherry, I'd love to invite you to our healthcare sector. We have something called Kitchen Chat, and it's the first Friday of every month. I'll share a little bit about that. It's just people in related medical fields. We have neuroscience folks and physicians and nurses, anyone who comes. It's all part of a chat. Often Julian Abel from Compassionate Communities and Palliative Care joins us. So we'd really welcome you to be a part of that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we'll get the information up for you so that you can see it. David.
Hi, everybody. I'm coming to you from the city of Richmond Hill. And given that I am the mayor of Richmond Hill, I have to say the beautiful and fantastic and lovely city of Richmond Hill. That's part of my gig. But also I am working as closely as I can to try to keep up with Sarah and Marge and Susan and Sherry and Shashir and all the rest from Compassionate York Region. I have to put my running shoes on, I think, to keep up with those guys. But I'm looking forward to coming to Chicago for a short time, but looking forward to being a part of that and hopefully learning a lot more, than I know now about it. So, and it's great to see you, Marilyn, again.
It's great seeing you, and I'm looking forward to that little bottle of maple syrup.
I did not forget that. Now, it's going to be hard to get that on the plane, but a little bird told me that I've got a courier driving across the border. So I think
okay.
I still may be able to fulfill that obligation.
Okay. Sure.
Good to see you, Marilyn. It's been a while. And I'm in Richmond Hill helping the York Region group. And obviously my role has been much more of a mentor and more than anything. I have been volunteering for the past 17 years, both in the health industry and a lot more with the business, small business to medium businesses. So I hope I am still able to continue adding value, and always a pleasure when we see people giving back, because that gives us so much more fulfillment than taking.
Great, thank you. Welcome. Diana. Your mic is also off. There you go.
Okay. I'm Diana Lee and I live in Richmond Hill. I finished that compassionate training course and I wanted to be involved in the, York Region's compassionate community project, but I was just too busy to be involved. Anyway, I'm learning filmmaking now, and in the script I have just written, I included the Happy to Chat bench in Richmond Hill, and then I'm trying to add a conversation about compassionate, feelings, something like that, a conversation. So I hope it will help to promote this. Yeah.
Great.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Thank you. Kate.
There's two Kates.
Oh, okay. That would be Davy.
Hello, everybody. I'm also from Richmond Hill, and I have the honor of working with our mayor. So I was excited for the opportunity to come, just to listen, to hear more about what's happening here, what's going to be happening, what's going to be happening in Chicago. So just open ears, open heart, glad to be here. Thank you for allowing it.
Great, thank you. The other Kate.
I'm Kate in BC, southeastern British Columbia. And first of all, Richmond Hill, where is that?
That's right at the center of the universe.
Beautiful, wonderful.
Yeah. So if you think of Toronto, we're just a little bit north of Toronto. So think of Toronto as a suburb of Richmond Hill.
Okay. So Ontario.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, I'm not involved in any kind of compassion group or besides signing the charter here. I am trying to make it a really conscious practice in my own life. So that's why I'm here, just to listen and maybe find different ways to get more involved.
Okay, great. You know, when Merida just left, she threw off my whole screen here. But Suzanne, I think that you're going to finish my third row here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for asking Kate about Richmond Hill. I didn't know either. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta. And yeah, beautiful Alberta. And I was put onto this by my friend Donna Entz. I actually don't know a whole lot about the Charter for Compassion, so I'm eager to learn. But I'll just say a little bit about myself. I have two half-time jobs. I'm a half-time pastor in a little Mennonite church that is intercultural, intentionally intercultural. Trying to figure that out anyway, and so I'm an interim pastor there. And then the other half is I'm a bridge building facilitator for Mennonite Church Alberta. And that job entails building bridges between Muslims and Christians through a Common Word Alberta, and building good bridges with Indigenous people as we live into our responsibilities with the calls to action, and just building capacity for interculturalism so that we can be good neighbors to each other. That's what I try to do.
Great. So Suzanne, are you involved at all in the Mennonite effort in restorative practices, restorative justice practices?
Well, Mennonite Central Committee Alberta is just trying to get back into prison visitation, which is part of that vision of bringing community into prisons to help inmates prepare for joining community. And I have been involved in that. That was put on hold during COVID, so we're bringing that back.
Okay.
Yeah, but I definitely have been involved in that. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the person in iPad number 6.
Hello, hi, sorry, I'm actually from BC, but I'm in Montreal at the moment, and for some reason my computer wouldn't sign in, so I took my iPad and I haven't figured out how to add my name.
I'm going to add your name for you. What is it?
It's Dawn Courage.
Okay. Is it
And,
AIRSCA?
Oh, I use it. COURAGE.
CORAGE.
Or I like to have courage. And I've been getting emails about the charter for some time. Myself, I work as an educator, and I've worked a lot with Indigenous communities, adult education. I taught at UBC courses to do with social issues and education. And I've done a lot of diversity and inclusion training. So I've always found that compassion is kind of the foundation of a lot of positive social change. So I was very interested when I saw this charter for compassion, and I looked up to see if there are any BC communities doing that. I saw something, maybe Souk somewhere in Vancouver Island, but nothing in Vancouver City. And I just wanted to meet other people and find out what you're doing and how it maybe you could bring some more activities to Vancouver.
Right.
So that's why I'm here.
In fact, there isn't another Vancouver person here, but he's at the end of my fourth line, so I can't call on him yet.
Okay.
Shiv, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm very well, Marilyn. My pleasure to see you and all the other compassion in Canada. I work for an organization called Spiritual Heritage Education Network. So our approach is educational in nature. And Sherry from Richmond Hill, I understand you've been working with addiction management. We have worked with addiction management at the local hospital for over 10 years. So maybe we can get together and share our notes as to what we do about addiction.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Shiv.
Thank you.
Mohammed, the other side of Canada.
Good day, everyone. Wonderful to see you all. I'm coming to you from Vancouver, and I'm not sure if I'm the one Marilyn was referring to as the fourth line. I used to be on her first line. Now I've dropped down to her fourth line, I see. So wonderful to see you all from Richmond Hill. I was just there a few weeks ago, and yes, it's a beautiful place. I have a daughter and a couple of grandkids in Vaughan. So I'm in and out of Richmond Hill all the time. I am I'd like to say retired pharmacist, but I'm at work today. So for those of you trying to retire, you know what I mean. But I'm a certified CIT facilitator, compassionate integrity training. That's what I love doing. And if any of you in your organizations would like that offering, I do it through my private foundation, which is called the Rahma Foundation. Rahma means compassion, and I named it after organizations like the Charter for Compassion and the CIT program, because it's made such a difference in my life. It's my way of giving back. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I can put my email on the chat. But wonderful to see you all. I am going to have to take leave in about 10 minutes, but I just wanted to at least show face and see all your beautiful faces.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Rochelle. Okay. Is Merida back? Rochelle herself? Did I frighten her away? This is terrible. Okay, well, let me just say, I think most of you know me. I'm Marilyn Turkovich, and I'm the executive director of the Charter for Compassion. And there's a lot happening in our life. Here comes Anne. Let's see, she quickly came and might have left already. I'm not sure, there might be some. Are you there, Anne?
Hello.
Hi, we're doing just a little check-in and you are the last.
My
So
apologies for being late.
it's okay.
Yeah, I'm actually not feeling that well, so I'm lying down. I'll just leave the camera off.
Okay, do you want to tell us who you are and where you're from?
Yes, my name is Anne. I'm from Guelph, Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there has through the years been a lot happening there. So welcome. We'd love to hear more as we move along. I was just going to share some of the things that have been going on with the charter. It's pretty monumental, as a matter of fact. In March, we had a very long 4-day strategic planning meeting with our staff, our board of trustees, and our coordinators. And I'm fairly certain Marge was a part of that. And it gave us a good amount of direction for, I think it's fair to say, a little bit of a reorg. And we will be unveiling a brand new website that will reflect an awful lot of the strategic planning. And that website will definitely be up January 31st because the other website is going away.
Isn't it July 31st?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So technically we are working around the clock to populate what you will have an opportunity to see in just a few minutes. I want to get to that. I had my schedule up and I don't think anyone wants to see that. So here we go. This is a preview. This is what it's looking like. And I hope that one of the things that you'll see is that it's, even though it has much more than the last website, which is hard to believe, it's very simplistic at the same time. And you can see that by the navigation bar of, who we are, what we do, how we engage, and news and events. And let me just go through real quickly. You can see that when you come to the website, there's a carousel, and the carousel talks about how you can get involved, the donation piece, joining upcoming events, signing the charter, and getting our newsletter. But one of the things that we want to really emphasize in everything that we're doing is, what is it we do? We connect people, people who care. And so besides being this global movement that we have been involved in for a number of years, we want to make it clear that we have a lot of educational resources, organizing tools, and new avenues. And I want to kind of emphasize that new avenues for communication. And so again, you're going to see a little bit of redundancy, but we have been schooled in the last couple of months by the people who have provided the organizational part of our platform that, it's not a bad thing for people to see things a number of times so that they can become really knowledgeable about what we're doing. And so one of the other things is, why is it that we're doing this? Why are we connecting people who care? And so we have kind of this bold statement about compassionate action and our thirst for really creating compassionate communities. And then, how do we do this? And this is, I think it's new, because one of the things is that we want people to consider that this website is a landing pad. Dropping down, getting your helicopter in place, but it's also an avenue to a Wikipedia of the compassion movement. And you'll see, I hope, in a minute or two, exactly what I mean by that. Because we have a new approach to the information that's here, and new ways of using that information. This is a feature that's going to change twice a week, so that we'll have a statement about compassion among all of the leaders in the field. In this case, we're opening with Roshi Joan Halifax, who is a member of our Global Compassionate Board and also one of the recipients last year of our Humanitarian Award. And this is somewhat accurate up into the number of people reached by mid-June of this year. We're close to 7 million people that have come through social media, through the website, to take a look at what we're all about. And here we have our blog, which comes out through our newsletter each week. And in this case, the blog is announcing a recipient of our upcoming Karen Armstrong Humanitarian Awards. It is Valerie Carr, and she is the founder of Revolutionary Love. So that we'll be showing, at least on the front page, just 3 weeks of the newsletter. But one of the things is that you can click here and you can see all of our blogs and be able to connect to them. Let me show you, I think, a feature that you might be interested in who we are, our mission and vision, our history. But I want to share with you our teams. And so, there's our team that does an awful lot of work in terms of the global staff. And you have seen some of these folks on like Merida before, but we also have, as part of our teams as well, our volunteer advisors. And if we go back to, we don't have all the arrows in place yet, so I'll just have to we have global hub coordinators. And again, you might recognize some of these people. Lynn Reeder, who is our coordinator from Australia, and John Hale from the Northwest of the US. I don't know who that Marge woman is, but from Canada. California, we have a Compassionate California that was a past resolution in the state of California. We have a brand new program called Compassionate USA in conjunction with San Antonio, Compassionate San Antonio and Alamo College. We have a new effort in Florida for Compassionate Florida. In Mexico, we have Christina Gonzalez. In the Netherlands, Greta Lammers. New Zealand is John Selwood. Pakistan, Kawar Shah. South Africa, Babawa Ngolo. And Texas, Karen Ball. And poor Mary Catherine Burgess is all there by herself because we can have only so many people on one page of the website. But let me share with you a little bit about what we do. And Mohammed, are you still here? Because I had hoped, I don't know if he
I'm still here, yes.
Okay, good.
No, I'm still here.
So one of the new features that we have been trying in pilot form, but we will really kick into action once not only the website is up, but the parliament is over. But we have different approaches to bringing people together. And one is human bridges. It was originally called Crossing Borders. We will be offering this program twice a month starting in September. And then once a month, we will have Train the Trainer. And the idea is that this originally was a program for young people, but it's an unusual way of bringing a group of people together in conversation. There's a motivator, and then a group of young people who respond to the motivator, and there's only 12 people in a group. And the 12 people are then divided to discuss the motivator and also the reactions from the young people. We have a new approach for life purpose groups for people who want to share what they're all about and what they're striving for. Open space technology is something that we have done twice now with, again, young people. We had 270 young people in September from 5 countries that participated in open space technology with a program called Youth Collaborating for Compassion. We repeated a second round in December. We had close to 200 people again. The idea is that you come in and you set the agenda together. And it is an interesting process because you might say, how do you set an agenda with 275 people? I think you have to experience it. We'll have a lot of information here, short videos to help explain it. But it has really taken off for us, and we're really excited about trying to bring it to communities throughout the world. The kitchen table is, as I mentioned, it's for healthcare folks who want to just come together and chat. And it's the first Friday of every month. Our Sangha it's a really exciting time. It's offered, we've been doing it now coming up close to a year. And the Sangha is led by Orla O'Sullivan, who's the education director at Plum Village, the retreat center started by Thich Nhat Hanh. That's my crazy dog in the background. So hopefully we'll get her to not participate so much. But this is the last Saturday of every month. So we're hoping that we have, I think Merida said something today, like 180 people who have registered. Not 180 people come each Saturday, but it is an ongoing offering. And let me share something, and it could be, we work in 12 sectors. And one of the things is that I'm just going to go for education, only because we're just finishing this one off. One of the things that we're looking to make a little bit different is that in each sector, we're trying to address how is it that compassion relates to the sector. So, for example, what is compassion and social justice about? What is compassion, restorative justice about? Whatever the sector might be. The other thing is, how is it that you can take compassion and relate it to the sector? So bringing it into compassionate action. And then, what are the programs that we have been closely involved in relative to our sector? So in the case of education, you can see people from the Secretary General of UNESCO, along with the people from UNESCO MGIEP, showing their compassion bracelets. The charter has been really involved with the Mahatma Gandhi Educational Institute, and with programming like CIT and some of the other things that are being offered. The other thing is that we're concerned about the SDGs, and we have placed the SDG icon that relates to the particular sector on the sector page. There's another group that we've been involved in, and this is a healthcare group that is looking at the SDGs and creating a one-page response to the SDGs and relative to the kinds of action statements that come out of looking at them clearly. So in many of the sectors, we really try to define the relationship of compassion, the charter, to the UN programs and the SDGs. And then, we're trying to zero in on exemplar global programs that are compassionate at their base. And then we begin to look at some of the things that relate specifically to us. The Children's Charter, which some of you may know, started with Erin Henry from Toronto a number of years ago, shortly after the original Charter for Compassion was presented at the UN. We have worked with Erin over the last 6 months or so, revised the Children's Charter, revised curriculum that comes out of it. And so Erin will also be joining us at the Parliament of World Religions. And there's a children's corner, and I can talk a little bit about that in a while. And so the Children's Charter will be very much visible at the Parliament, and opportunities for joining our community. Here's another something that happens the third Thursday of every month, the EdNet Forum, bringing new programs, or maybe not so new programs, to the eyes of people who are involved in the Charter that have compassion at their base. We have a quarterly bulletin. We help work with Compassionate Cities with publicizing new publications for schools, resources, and then our sector connections. This is a brand new piece that we didn't have before, but it's encouraging every one of our sectors to figure out how is it that they relate to one another and how they can work with one another. The other thing that I think is important that we know is that our sector teams, and anyone here who is interested in joining a sector team, sorry for the delay, my internet is a little slow, but we have in the education group, we have Sharon Grady, who's in Ireland, Shane O'Connor, who's in Madrid, Lucy, who's in the US, Yasmin, who is in Jordan, and Jennifer, who is in Singapore, Anjali, who's in India, Raki, who's also in India, Nadia, who's also in Jordan, Delshad, who's in the UK, and Arun, who's in India, and Tara, who has been in the Middle East, in Bahrain, but now is in Switzerland. So that's our team. And as you look at the sidebar, and this was much clearer, and we changed it today, and I think we're going to have to change it back. But then we have interesting articles so that people could be using these and not necessarily having to do their own research. And we have chapters, and each chapter contains a number of items. And what I'm showing you here in education exists in all of the 12 sectors. We have inspiring books, which you might say are annotated bibliographies. And then we have, in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 annotated bibliographies for educators, for parents. And then we have our grassroots wisdom book, Connections, of wonderful programs that are in place, that are happening around the world, that they're very shortly presented so that they could be replicated in your own community. And then we just, in the last week, put in current offerings. What is it that the sector is doing that can be shared? I should stop there because I know it could be a little bit overwhelming, even though we're saying that we're trying to make it simpler for use. But one of the big efforts that we're trying to do is to have these kinds of connections where people can really express their passion and their concerns and just have an opportunity to come together periodically or come together on a regularly scheduled basis. I had mentioned, and I am going to stop there. So if you have any questions about the new website, you can just ask them now, and then I can go into talking a little bit about the Parliament.
I don't have questions, but I will say I'm very impressed with the new layout and where you're going with the new website. Definitely you said it will simplify it, but there already was so much, and it must have been a challenge.
Yeah.
To redirect and yeah. But I'm glad to see it's evolving. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
With education, are you going to be talking at all about continuing learning, like adult education, that aspect?
Yeah, one of the things that I didn't share, but can, is that, what we do, we offer compassionate education. And so, as we scroll down here, we still continue to offer the Charter Education Institute, the Global Read, the EdNet Forum, and webinar series. So one of the other things, hopefully that'll make it a little clearer, we're still working on this, but is our new event calendar. It's not synced up yet, but one of the things that we'll be doing is underneath the calendar, so that if you're someone who participates in the EdNet Forum and you're like, oh my gosh, what's the next one? You can just come to the calendar and you can click on ongoing events. So the Sangha will be there, EdNet Forum will be there, Kitchen Chat will be there, and also the global chats. So I think, one of our challenges is going to be, how is it that we educate people on how to use all of this material and actually use it in some of our presentations, so that people know exactly the wealth of material that's there, and that, hopefully that it becomes the Wikipedia of compassion, so that people will just automatically come to get material from here. Any other questions? Boy, we know how to fill the time, don't we? I'm just looking at the time. One of the things we had mentioned is about the Parliament of World Religions. The Charter is involved with a number of organizations in which we have a memo of understanding. One is the Parliament of World Religions. The other one is Encuentro Mundial de Valores in the Human Values Conference in Mexico. A third is our involvement with the United Religions Initiatives project, Voices for a Nuclear-Free World. So that we participate with those three organizations with whatever needs to be done if there is an event like the upcoming Parliament. And so the Charter will have, I don't know if it's 22 or 27 workshops at the Parliament. The other thing is that we will have our banquet, our gala, that we have done the last few years online. This will be the 6th time that we have awarded the Karen Armstrong Humanitarian Awards. And these are awards that are given to individuals or organizations that have done extraordinary work in the field of compassion. So that some of you may remember from last year, Mary Robinson, the former president of Ireland and the current chair of the elders, was one of the recipients. So was Krista Tippett, who does a national public radio or independent radio program called On Being, and she does podcasts. In addition to that, we've had Isabel Wilkerson, who has written the extraordinary book called Caste, which is looking at caste and slavery in India, ironically, Germany, and the United States. Extraordinary book. This year, I already mentioned Valerie Carr, who is the founder of Revolutionary Love, is one of the recipients. The second recipient is Scarlett Lewis, Scarlett lost her son in the Newtown massacre a number of years ago. And she has had some press coverage lately because she and her husband were the ones who sued the talk host radio person and won a multi-million-dollar suit because he claimed that Newtown was a hoax, that it didn't happen. And one of the things that Scarlett has done, and she's been very much a part of the charter from the day of that massacre, is that she has started something called the Jesse Choose Love Foundation, which provides free of charge all incredible materials for the classroom. And it is now in 100 countries in the world. So Scarlett will be with us and to get her award. The third person is Ron Nienberg, who is the current mayor of San Antonio. And Ron has committed a lot of energy into creating Compassionate USA. He is also the current kind of compassion officer for the U.S. Conference of Mayors. We have been working hard to have other countries look at this model so that they too can create a compassionate UK or compassionate Zimbabwe, and a number of countries and a number of communities around the world have signed on to that. So Ron is our third recipient. He will receive the award for this from Mayor Greg Fisher, former Mayor Greg Fisher, who many of you know has been he filled, I think, 3 terms, which was all he could run in Louisville, Kentucky. And he was the first person to introduce the whole concept of compassion and cities and got the endorsement for the idea of compassionate cities from the Dalai Lama. So Greg will be with us as well. The fourth person is someone that is very dear to the hearts of the Charter for Compassion. He was a board member and chair of our board, someone who worked hard to get in place our healthcare sector. And it's Dr. Charles Barker, who died at the end of June. And so we had decided before Charlie even got sick that we would like to consider giving an award to him. And his life ended very quickly from the time that he got sick. His wife will be there to accept the award on his behalf. And we're really honored to have her be a major part of the whole proceedings. So that's just a little bit of what's going on at the Parliament. There's so much going on. We have the banquet, obviously. We're participating in the Children's Corner. I'm sure it's not called the Children's Corner, but there's a lot going on there. And there is a big surprise from the Children's Corner to the banquet, but I'm not going to tell you because I can't trust any of you, I don't think. So you'll find out afterwards if you're not there. But it has something to do with the organization From Guns to Tools. And so we're working with them as well. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore.
Marilyn, can I just ask, is there any hybrid to that Parliament this year? Any online, or is it all just in person now?
I think it's going to be only in person. However, we talked about that today because of the 2 mayors panels that we have. And we're trying to figure out how is it that we might record those on our own and make them available right in the present, but also to have the recordings for later. So I think that, you know, we might do that on our own, but the Parliament, I think, is pretty overwhelmed with everything that they're doing, that every time I bring it up, they shy away from it. So my guess is no, because it's pretty
thank
late.
you.
Yeah, it's pretty late in the game.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Yeah, I often get emails also from Global Compassion Coalition. Is there any relationship with you and that organization?
Yes, I'm on the board of that group. It started 1 year ago by Rick Hansen, who some of you may know is kind of a New York Times best-selling author. He has really put his whole energy behind the coalition. Right now, you know, they're trying to get their footing, and I can say they've done an incredible job of pulling together interest areas. It is a group, if you look at our two organizations, the charter is probably more of a grassroots organization, whereas the Global Coalition, Compassion Coalition, is much more at present, much more a group that is made up of professionals in the field. So the professionals who might be neuroscientists, professionals who might be political people. And so, you know, we continue to work together and even offering programs. Rick Hansen will be offering a program with us, I think in December, November or December, through our Compassion Education Institute. He's already done one program with us. And we in turn are doing work with them as well. But it is confusing because we even have a GCC. And ours is Global Compassion Council, and it reflects a number of people who were a part of the Council of Conscience who originated the Charter for Compassion. But you helped me remember that I need to write something for the new website on that. Thank you. I'm not grateful, but thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you able to talk for a minute?
I'm sorry. I just heard someone. Was it from the heavens?
Did seem a little foreign.
Yeah, it did. It was a little out there. I wasn't sure.
Kate, did you have any more questions for Marilyn, since this is your opportunity to talk to her?
No.
No, okay.
Actually, I mean, I'm really listening, and honestly, I feel like the website is somewhere where I might end up going and just spending days and days. I know that the mayor is only supposed to speak for 15 minutes, but if you let me onto that website, he might be there an hour.
I have no problem of sharing the new website right now, and just by giving you this link, I'll give it to everyone. Just know that it's a work in progress. It's a couple weeks from being done. But it just, I don't know. I think I just gave you the page for events, but all you have to do is click on the infinity symbol. It'll take you to the home page and you'll be able to scroll all over it. Let me just mention about, we have two panels that deal with governance, mayors, and compassionate cities. We are still in flux with both of them. However, the first panel, which your mayor will be involved in, will be with Mayor Nyenberg. And it appears to me Mayor Fisher will be on that panel as a respondent. We will have, in addition to your mayor, we will have Reverend Barry Burr, who is one of the founders of Compassionate Cape Town, South Africa. And that is a new, that's another change. We have changes every day, which is a little nerve-wracking. She will also be on the panel with a counselor from South Africa, who is quite an articulate and exciting individual, a young counselor for South Africa. We're still hoping that the mayor of Pomona will be on that panel as well. And this morning I had an exchange with Mayor Lori Lightfoot, former mayor of Chicago. So, you know, it will probably change up till the last minute. I think that, you know, we have a lot of seasoned people who are on that panel. And so, you know, it just will be, I think, a free-flowing exchange. Both Ron Nyenberg and Mayor Fisher have been at this for 10 years. And so they'll just have a lot to say and a lot of guidance along the way. So, and I think, you know, the beautiful thing about coming to listen to mayors is to hear them talk about what compassion does mean to a community, and how it is reflected in not only, you know, the work of the grassroots groups that are part of a compassionate community, but, you know, what kind of play does it have on the council members? How does it maybe change the conversation? And in the possibility of something like Richmond Hills, you know, how did this whole thing start? And where might it be going? You know, a little bit of visioning for the future. The second panel in the day, and I think that anyone who's there will really benefit by it, will be on Compassionate USA. And it will be led by Ron. Ann Helmke, she has a paid position as a charter person in the administration. And one of the things that Ron is going to address is how important it is to have someone who has the designation of being a compassion officer, or whatever it is that you want to give a title to that person, how important it is to a city. The other thing is that one person who helped design Compassionate USA will also be on that panel. And then Marianne Williamson, I don't know if you know this name, will be the respondent. And so, and the idea behind this is she doesn't know a lot about Compassionate USA. So she's going to be responding to, I mean, she is a presidential candidate for US president. So I have a conversation with her later. I mean, this is not a political forum for her, but it is an opportunity for her to talk about how someone who is running for public office needs to look at compassion. I mean, Mayor Fisher was our first mayor who ran on a platform of compassion. There have been a couple other people who have done the same thing but have not won. Maybe because of running on a platform for compassion, but you know, hopefully she will be speaking to that and also to the work of Compassionate USA as an observer.
Marilyn, can I ask, in the past, you had some people in Kentucky, that were, associated with the compassion there that worked on an index that they were keeping track of, like using metrics on compassion. Did that work continue, or did that go into some other?
The work has not continued in Kentucky, to my knowledge, but we have a number of cities who are doing something similar. No, the one person who was going to do a presentation on it is not coming. But this is something that, obviously we want to pay strict attention to. Folks in Australia have devised a measurement system as well, and it is, I think it is on the website, or will be.
Yeah. So we have one in Winnipeg called PEG, PEG, and we actually did a bit of a webinar some years back with Steve Kalia out of Australia, who did the World Peace Index. And so I'm still interested in, connectivity around metrics. And, some point I wouldn't mind catching up with you on how that still might interact a bit.
Right. Yeah. Steve was, you might want to check, last year, he did a global read with us, and it's recorded and it's in the archives. And I think that we're talking with him right now of doing something for International Day of Peace as well.
Okay. So, that might be something that we'd be interested in beaming into somehow.
Yeah.
Good. So just out of interest, Marilyn, we have a new mayor in Winnipeg, Scott Cunningham and Gillingham, sorry. And he's just coming up to speed, but he may have some interest. And the past mayor, Brian Bowman, had some interest, and we did introduce the subject to him. He actually got hired by Canada Life, which is a big insurer in Canada, to work on sustainable development from a corporate perspective. So, that's kind of interesting. So he may even have some interest too.
Sure. Great. Thank you for that, Gary.
Yeah.
So Marge, I'm going to turn it over to you because we've now successfully gone over.
Yeah, it's again, as usual, it's great to see everyone, to hear what people are doing. Thank you for reviewing the website. I do find it daunting. I have been spending time this week looking over the cities and seeing. It's amazing. I click on all the links and see what city's doing what's happening, and it actually feels good. So yeah, I found some links that don't work, but that's but beyond that, it's a very positive one. And I will suggest, I have some ideas to put forward to make that a little more easy to navigate and to get information from. So yeah, but I am looking forward to working more with the city's aspect and seeing how to move it forward and make it more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, I have not even visited the where we are with the cities. I'm just finishing up with the sectors, and next week I will concentrate on the city. So anything you can send me.
Yeah, no, I've been sending Merida stuff and such, so but I'll get some more stuff off to you. So yeah.
Yeah, no, send it to me because she's not involved with the website. She's involved with which we haven't even talked about, our new database. So that hopefully will. We had thought initially that it would not go live at the same time as the website, but I think that we're pushing for both of them to go at the same time.
Okay. Okay. And Diana, your project, you didn't say too much about it. I have a little more glimpse, but Diana's doing things with older adults who are learning how to do film and documentaries.
Oh, great.
And I think that is really quite powerful. So Diana, I hope there are many opportunities for you to bring things under, like, make a compassionate film documentary. The one that you did with elder abuse, I think, was amazing. So here you have some older adults who've decided they're going to learn how to make documentaries, and I am in awe. So
Yeah.
So can I just ask, where would I find information on Diana's project?
Diana, can you put it in the website? Oh, you're on mute, Diana. So anyways, it's yeah.
Or Marge, if she
Yeah.
doesn't, can you just send a link or something?
Yep. Okay, Gary, I don't think I
Yeah.
have your email. So
Well, we don't have it on the YouTube screening. Okay. So as soon as it is on YouTube, I'll send it over. Yeah.
okay.
But now, at the moment, we have like about more than 10 short movies. But each movie has got a different style. Some may be related to older adults, and some may be documentary about older adults' activities, and some about immigration. You know, mine is about more about fiction or with artificial intelligence. And in fact, I have a question about this because when I come across artificial intelligence, there's so many apps that I'm amazed, and then I think it has an impact on the compassionate project that you are doing, because people are going to be working in front of the computer, working on all these AI apps instead of talking to people face to face. So I wonder, how do you cope with this trend?
Well,
Marilyn.
That's why we are putting so much emphasis on promoting conversations. That first piece that I showed you, and providing a lot of different avenues for people to do that.
Okay.
So, and Kate, I would encourage you. I don't think you've met Diana. That she's often in the background. So, but she's a Richmond Hiller, and you need to meet her. So, we go back to the days when we both worked for the Conservation Authority, our previous lives. So, yeah.
I'm writing furiously. If you could see my book, it's just a mess of notes. So I've got all your names.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, very good. Okay,
And
well, a
one
lot
thing
of
I'm
people
a
have
bit
needed to
surprised too is that in your sorry. Well, one thing I wanted to say is that I'm surprised in your global team there isn't a Chinese.
Not yet.
You have people from all over the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've not made inroads into China, and just a little bit of an inroad into Japan. So we need help in that area of the globe.
Diana, do you speak Mandarin or Cantonese?
I speak both, but Mandarin is not perfect. Yeah, I can speak Mandarin.
Okay. Okay, so Marilyn, if you need help, you've got Diana there. You can be a resource.
Okay. I wish I could. I wish I could.
Yeah. Okay.
So it seems like we're coming to a bit of a conclusion, so I think I'm going to have to leave as well. But thank you, Marilyn, and nice to meet all of you on the line here. And Marilyn, I wouldn't mind somehow catching up with you just to explain the Peace Days thing this year and some of the work that we're doing with the Conflict and Resilience Research Institute Canada. So we're going to have a series of webinars on Ukraine, Afghanistan, Myanmar, and the Rohingya issue, the Congo. And there may be some, you may have some interest in some of them just as information pieces.
Good. No, let's do that. Sure.
All right.
And Gary, I hope I meet you at the conference in Chicago.
Yeah, I will have to, look at that seriously but I have registered, so at least I'm halfway there.
Good.
So thank you. Thanks for the encouragement, folks.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. So I think we
Bye.
should probably end, Marilyn. You probably, yes, yeah. I was gonna say have supper, so I'm thinking you need to have supper and the rest of
Thank
us
you,
need to do other
Marilyn.
things.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
Very impressed with your work.
Thank you, everyone. So Marge, you're the one to sign us off.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
stop the
Okay.
recording. and-
Okay.
Okay, great.
Thank
Okay,
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Shiv, and Kate and Sarah and Sherry. We will talk soon. Okay.
Thank you
Yes,
all.
okay.
Thank you all
Night.
very much. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.